I'm not amused. All right, today is a big day. Today we got the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. I got Silent K in the building. Silent K, let's get it started. Joe Burrows just had his first playoff win, and we seen the man reaction. What do you think about his reaction and Cincinnati's first playoff win in over 30 years?
Well, let me start off by saying his reaction lets me know that he is in really in base with reality because it's just one win, one playoff win. Your team ain't done it in 30 years. We see the coach, he's celebrating, kind of, it was like a Super Bowl win. And he was like, it reminded me of Kobe Bryant. You know how Kobe Bryant was like, job's not finished. He was like, this is going to be the norm for this team going forward. And he was like, I want to win the next week too. I want to win today. So I really like that about him. It shows that he can stay humble. He's not getting too excited about something this small, even though it was the Cincinnati's first win in 30 years. The
Definitely.
city is probably going crazy, after being let down so many times. But I really admire that about him. That he kept his stay humble and he stayed in base reality. Like, dude, this one win. Y'all did not win a Super Bowl. You don't get a trophy. You don't even get a plaque. So I really like that.
All right, that's what's up. Now, like the Titans are obviously favorites, and even though they're favorites, what do you think about Cincinnati's chances of winning this game?
If you pull up the numbers, I was seeing that Cincinnati is a team that only turns the ball over as much as they take it away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something good. So that means if they make a mistake, usually they make up for it. The defense to get it back or the however it needs to work. And I was also looking at the Tennessee Titans turn the ball over more than they take it away.
Yeah.
So I think whichever team can get that turnover first, that's gonna be a big thing. And we know that Cincinnati is kind of on paper stats wise, it's like a middle of the road team. For like total defense, but they are top 10 on offense and passing yards.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm thinking if Cincinnati can really get their offensive attack going, if they can stay balanced also, I think that'll be a good thing. But they also give up about as much passing yards as the Kansas City Chiefs, which that means a lot. They give up a lot of passing yards.
Yeah.
So I think for Cincinnati to win this game, they gotta kind of stick with what they do good on offense, which is passing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Also, even though they have a good run defense, that defense is going to have to make sure that they don't give up any big passing, like any kind of big passing plays, because that changes the whole dynamic of the game. And they're kind of middle of the road on points allowed too. So that's not like a defense that you don't know what you're gonna get week to week. Sometimes they might give a bunch of points, then next week they may hold people to not scoring a lot. But if the Bengals can get on the scoreboard early, you know, and another thing you got to pay attention to, they get on the scoreboard early, they got a chance to win. I know they're saying the Bengals led the division, but when you really think back, their division is usually the best division in AFC. But the Ravens were killed with injuries.
Yeah.
That's two games they get to play against the Ravens. The Steelers, Big Ben is on his last leg in his career. He an old, torn down, ain't worth a crap quarterback.
Yeah.
And the Browns are the Browns. Faker Mayfield. What they call him, Faker Mayfield. So I'm thinking this might be a situation where the Bengals may not be as good as we think they are.
Yeah.
It might be posers, kind of like the Cowboys. I'm hoping they not, because they did win the first game.
Yeah.
But and another thing is Tennessee gives up a lot of passing yards on defense. They got a good run
Mm-hmm.
defense, but they give up a lot of passing yards. Bengals got a good passing attack. So there you go. Can we throw the ball on the Tennessee Titans? But that's why I said earlier, the Bengals are going to have to stay balanced at the same time, because you don't want to come out throwing the ball every play and you fall behind and you really are one dynamic. That's why I say score early, stay balanced, get on the scoreboard. Okay, but both teams, no, I said the Bengals, both teams have a good rushing defense. The Titans have a really good rushing defense. So, I think this is going to be a game that who can be balanced on offense. But I think passing the ball well and holding the Titans passing offense, you know, making them stay keyed in, don't let any really big passing plays. I think that's what make the Bengals have a chance to win this game.
All right, now I'm glad you said brought up the passing. Now, the Bengals have a really good passing game, and the Titans give up a lot of passing yards, but they don't give up a lot of points. So my question to you is, and you kind of touched on it, but basically my question to you is, how do you feel the passing will affect this game?
That's a good question because you got Ryan Tannehill for the Titans, who's really not known as a passer QB. He's a play action QB based off the running game. I mean, they get the running game going, and he can kind of get going, and he's a mobile QB. Joe Burrow is known as a pocket passer, can move around in the pocket real good. So I think based on the QBs, I think the passing game for both teams will be like, I don't want to say the determining factor, but I think it will be like it'll be like the X factor. You know how you got a determining factor and you got an X factor, and the X factor is kind of what pushes over the edge to win.
Yeah.
I think the passing game for both teams is going to be the X factor to see like who can really come out on top.
Now I'm glad you brought up the quarterbacks. Joe Burrow is an up-and-coming star, and Ryan Tannehill has a history of being a poor quarterback, but he's having a rebirth in his career. So my question to you is, which quarterback do you think will have to have the best game for their team to win?
That is a good question. Good question. I'm going to say Ryan Tannehill. And the reason I say Ryan Tannehill is because the Bengals come into this game knowing, hey, we got to rely on Joe Burrow. And you might say, because of that, well, shouldn't he have to have the best game? No, and here's why. Ryan Tannehill is kind of like the last thing on the Tennessee Titans you worried about. You got the defense, supposed to be good. You got the rushing attack, supposed to be good. You got Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, top receiver, supposed to be good. Then you got, can Ryan Tannehill get him the ball? Can he give him the ball if the running game isn't working and play action isn't working? So I think Ryan Tannehill has to have the better game for his team to win this game. And I know they're favorites, but I think if he came out and didn't play well, Titans don't win.
All right, well, now that we on that, so who do you predict will win this game?
I'm gonna go with the Titans because they're the favorites, because they're at home. The Bengals, they got a young QB, but I'm gonna go with the Titans based on the defense. They're at home and they got experience in the playoffs.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go with the Titans for the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tennessee Titans. You going with the Titans? All right. All right. Well, let's switch it over to the 49ers versus the Packers. All right. So San Francisco was kind of underdogs versus the Cowboys. All right, but they really weren't based on the schedule the Cowboys had. So do you think San Francisco can win this game relying on defense?
My first thought is to say yes. They can win this game if they rely on defense. But I've seen Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy G basically destroy the game for the 49ers. They almost did it last week against the Cowboys.
They did.
You're up 2 touchdowns, and the coach calls a passing play with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter on third down. Why don't you just run the ball and let your defense carry it to the end?
Yep.
Even if the Cowboys scored, they would have had to go the length of the field.
Yeah.
And it would have had to run at least 3 or 4 minutes off the clock, and you still would have got the ball back. So I want to say yes, they can, but I've seen either the coach for the 49ers or the quarterback sabotage them out of winning the game when the defense was playing really good.
Man, you like Professor X today because you're answering the questions before I ask them. San Francisco has lost a bunch of winnable games, and I was about to ask you, what do you think the reason is for that?
The coach and the quarterback. and
Yeah.
this is what you got right here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people. I'm a Seahawks fan, but I don't know if people remember the 2014 Super Bowl. Russell Wilson throwing an interception at the freaking goal line. You could have ran the ball.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the coach's call.
yeah,
Quarterback threw the interception. That's the coach's call. I've seen just like when they played Tennessee earlier this year. You're in the red zone. I think it's second down. Running game is hitting. Running game is killing. You call a pass play. Jimmy G throws an interception in the red zone. He's prone to throwing interceptions, in the red zone or interceptions in general when you say, well, Jimmy G shouldn't have done it. And I'm thinking, why are you calling a freaking pass play? Run the ball. You got a great rushing attack. Run the freaking ball. So I'm going to say it's either Jimmy G trying to make a play, just like last week in the playoffs on that third down. He's trying to force a throw. Just go out of bounds or just take the sack. Let time run off and punt the ball. Be safe. I've seen, these games that they've lost, I feel like it was either the coach or the QB or a combination of them both. And that's why they lost a lot of winnable games this year.
yeah, and that makes sense. All right, well, let's switch it over to the Packers. All right, so they have the best record in the NFC. So on paper, they look like a Super Bowl favorite. All right, so my question to you is, even though they're a winning team, do you really believe they have the potential to win it all?
Glad you asked me that question.
All right.
And yeah, I'm about to hate on the Packers right now. And I'm about to hate on them hard. And this is why I'm about to hate on them. You in the division you are in the NFC, you get to play the Detroit Lions twice.
Yeah.
You get to play the Chicago Bears twice. And you get to play the Minnesota Vikings twice. Yeah, I know they lost the game to the Minnesota Vikings, but it's still the Vikings. Kirk Cousins doesn't show up in big games.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. So that's 4 to 5 wins. That's 4 sure wins. Bears, Lions, they're gonna beat them twice.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings, they split. That's 5 wins right there.
Yeah.
All right. They won. What did they win? 13 games, I think. They won 13 games. Take 5 away from that. Okay, that's 8 left, right? Okay. Then you still get to go play a couple more cupcake teams. So I'm saying, for one, you're gonna win your division because it's trash.
Yeah.
And they played my team, the Seahawks, shut them out. Russell Wilson first game back from injury. I'm watching that game and I'm like, Seahawks should have won this game. But guess what? Russell Wilson throwing interceptions in the red zone. Pete Carroll making bad play calls. And I'm saying, yeah, the Packers look good on paper. But on the games where they play good teams, what are the Packers doing? Just like a couple years ago in the playoffs, I think they won 11 or 12 games. Played 49ers in the playoffs and they looked like scrubs. 49ers don't quite have the same team, but they still have a really good defense. And that's why I'm saying 49ers are not to be overlooked because of the defense. But I've just seen so many times Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy G kill the game for them. But I'm going to say no, the Packers I don't think have the potential to go all the way because they really haven't been tested as they need to be tested.
All right, so who do you think wins this game?
Can I give you a double answer? And I say that because
Go for it.
if Kyle Shanahan doesn't throw this game away, 49ers win based on defense. If they come in relying on the defense, running the ball, 49ers win. But if he does like he does so many times in the past, and puts the ball in Jimmy G hands when he doesn't need to, being up 10, 12 points, 2nd and 4, and you're throwing the ball and you can just run it. Make them stop you on the run. Make them stop you.
Yeah.
I would say 49ers win. So I'm going to give you a double answer. 49ers don't turn the ball over, 49ers win.
Gotcha.
49ers turn the ball over, Packers win. Simple as that.
All right, y'all. Simple as that, y'all. I'm not amused. There are our predictions. We're going to watch the game today right there along with y'all, and we're going to be back with our, you know how it is when your team lets you down. So we'll be back with our with our reactions to
post-game thoughts coming soon.
post-game thoughts.